Okay, today is August 26th, 2017, and this is a part two update for Hurricane Harvey, which has made landfall near Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, we're looking at a 28-hour loop on the SSEC water vapor map for the continental U.S. And as we can see, this storm began it actually fizzled out. This storm was hit with transmitters, microwave transmitters down here in the Caribbean, and the system rebuilt and moved up towards Texas where it is now. And watching this loop, how the eye wall sort of reforms, it's then killed off, and then it rebuilds, and they let it run full throttle right into the Texas coast. So basically, the power was taken off of this storm, and this was allowed to run right into that coastline at a category 4 status. And notice right here, look what's happening right here. Next loop around, here we go, right there. We have a big horseshoe blast pattern. That's a developing thunderstorm right near this hurricane. And this is a microwave transmitter superheating that area. And that's what we're seeing there, is that pressure wave, that water vapor expanding out radially from the center as that little area there is superheated. So the same thing can be happening on this storm. The weather controllers that are running this entire operation have failed to protect the citizens of southern Texas from this threat here. We have strong high pressure right in this area. We can see a lot of clockwise rotation right here, and that will maintain separation between this developing a disturbance right over here, which also has been targeted today. Earlier on the last video, we saw a very large shock wave moving out to the east in the last video. But this feature right here, if anybody thinks that carbon dioxide or a greenhouse gas is causing any of this manipulation, particularly this example right here, I've got some swampland down in Florida I can sell you. All right, so let's look at some of these other maps. We can see that the eye wall here, this storm was being targeted as it moved northwest, and it was being beat down with transmitters, and they put on a show. But then they let the thing just run, like I say, full throttle, Category 4 status. The eye wall is very well defined. Even after it moved on shore, we can see that there's been not much diminishment. If you look at the National Hurricane Center map right now at 12:30 a.m. in the morning on the 26th here, we can see that it's a drop from 130 mile per hour winds down to 125 mile per hour winds, Category 3, with still has very low pressure, 942 millibar, moving northwest at 6 miles per hour. Now, if we look at the storm track of this system, what's kind of problematic is that this storm's going to hang right near the coastline, right near the water supply that it needs to maintain the convection that makes it a hurricane, a dangerous storm. If this had moved further on shore, which it might do, we don't know if this is actually the way it's going to be, but this is projected to sort of hang around in the area right near the ocean, and that means it'll be able to pick up moisture to maintain its strength. And this is by design. If we look at these maps, we see high pressure between this developing disturbance. Let's go back to the hurricane map once again. Take a look at the map. We have a disturbance right over here with a 30% chance of hurricane formation in 2 days, and then we have Harvey right there. So there's high pressure in between these two systems to prevent them getting together, and so that will prevent this system from moving to the east. All right, let's look at the maps again. We have the water vapor map for the Gulf of Mexico, and we can still see a very well-defined eye wall. It shrinks just a little bit as it moves on shore, so the system is weakening as it's moved on shore. And what's interesting also is in the Doppler map, none of the weather stations in this area have any reporting at all. Everything is non-operational. Around 5:30 p.m. our time on the Pacific coast, the highest wind speed I was able to see on the Intellicast Doppler was 54 miles per hour, and that was measured at the Marine Corps station down just south of Corpus Christi. I'm not sure, I can't remember the name of it, but it's right on the coast. 54 mile per hour winds, and there was a couple of other places right around the area which also had 54 mile per hour wind readings. But all the other locations were completely dead. There was no wind speed, no pressure measurements. There was just nothing, zero for most of the stations right near the coastline, which I thought was odd because during the time that you would want that information, that especially during a hurricane, nothing is available. So I find that odd. In this day and age, we have generators, we have inverters, and uninterruptible power supplies. There's all sorts of ways to keep the equipment working when there's a widespread power outage. Okay, just a thought there. Here is the infrared map. We can see the high pressure being maintained between these two systems. We've got this hurricane here, which, by the way, this was split in half. A lot of this moisture was split in half. This all occurred yesterday, late in the day yesterday down here. We saw the transmitter split this thing in half, and so we have this moisture which has been separated away from the center. That was the biggest effort that was made to knock this storm down. Had they hit it right dead center with some real high power, this storm wouldn't be a Category 4, might be a Category 1 or less. All right, here's the visible light map. You see that well-defined eye wall, and there's not much detailed as far as the blast pattern goes. This is being allowed to run basically full throttle. Okay, so once again, right here, carbon dioxide is not causing that, nor is it causing the blast patterns on these storms, which I've been pointing out the last few days and also the last two and a half years. The narrative we're hearing on television is fake. The carbon dioxide gas is an excuse to implement a carbon tax and take control over people's lives, implement regulations. It's all just fake, and it's junk science. Now, I'd like to hear the meteorologists and scientists explain what's causing this feature right here, coming up right there. What is causing that? If it's not a microwave transmitter or a laser, what could that be? What could be causing this giant pressure wave of water vapor? Okay, let's look at the west coast now. We have the water vapor loop. We see the remnants of Kenneth right here, which in the last day and a half, we've seen two low pressures develop, one here and one right adjacent to it, which is starting to wrap right into that center of this vortex, this low pressure vortex. Right up here, we have a high pressure installation being maintained. And if we look at the infrared map, we see the wide margin here that's been built in, which will prevent the jet stream from merging and feeding into that vortex. So that's how that's done. You see the jet stream being steered and manipulated by this installed high pressure right here. And of course, a heat wave, as I've mentioned, is being, we've got high pressure installed in this area, and that will prevent any of this from moving in. It'll prevent all this monsoonal flow from moving any further north. And we have a right angle on this developing supercell right here over the Dakotas. You can see that very clearly. Big right angle right up there. Actually, a little better to see right here in the infrared loop. Here we go. A water vapor map here for the western U.S. We can see it pretty good. Some good detail right there, that right angle. And notice how nothing is getting into the southwest U.S. Everything is blockaded by this installed high pressure. And also right over here, this is an interesting feature. Look at this here in the water vapor map. We can see this blockade that's been engineered, built in. It's going to prevent the jet stream from feeding that low. And we have some clockwise rotation right here. Now in yesterday's video, we were showing a right angle right on the center of this developing low. And they're still applying power to the center of this low. And that is causing this clockwise activity right here. Descending air caused by that transmitter. That's high pressure, descending air, and that is peeling away a lot of this moisture field here on this frontal system. And that's how that's done. Same thing's happening over here. Okay, so that's the update. These terrorist weather controllers have allowed a lot of damage to occur here in southern Texas. We'll have to wait for tomorrow and see what the damage is. This may continue north. We don't know what's going to happen. It's in their hands. The fact that we've got high pressure between this developing system and this storm here will tell us that either this storm will go north and do a lot of damage up near Houston and Dallas, possibly. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. But as it looks now, this is just running basically full throttle. Okay, so that's it.